Hey, welcome to the channel. Got another gig log today. Heading down to Hartford, Connecticut, West Hartford, to the Pond House Cafe. My first time there. Really cool place actually. When I first arrived, I noticed it's Halloween time, and man, did they have a cool Halloween decoration display. I mean, all kinds of awesome skeletons and anyway, all kinds of cool stuff. Definitely they spent their time and made it real cool. I mean, there was a bunch of different areas too, including this whole graveyard area. Witches, skeletons, ghouls, ghosts, all other kinds of funky Halloween stuff. So I got there 2 hours early, as I like to do. I like to give myself plenty of time to set up, especially at a place I've never been before. And so I got there, and there was already an event that was happening during the day that was running late, and they were just letting it run late, and so I had to wait. And I don't like waiting, especially when I'm anxious to just get my stuff set up and make sure that it's all cool for the gig. So a bit of the calm before the storm. It is now 4:15. I got here at about 3:45, but there's another event going on until 4:30, so I can't get set up until 4:30. Eventually they clear out. I'm able to get all settled in. So I just met up with Brooke, one of the staff members here. She is awesome. She gave me the go-ahead to start setting up the cemetery, oh my God, ceremony. I get all set up. I do a quick little mic check. The ceremony area is pretty small, stone patio right outside the main ballroom. Not big at all. So I do a little sound check with myself. Everything's sounding good. Oh, that was the thing though. I scanned my Sennheiser. So I scanned for an open channel for the wireless, the lav mic. And I couldn't find one. And it was my first time ever dealing with that. So I scanned it again, scanned it again. And it could not find anything. So I was talking I called a friend of mine, and he's like, yeah, well, I've never had that happen before, but just, if you can get a channel that it works on, just use that channel. So the channels that it was on from the last time I used it, it was like 2.1 or God knows what it was. Anyway, it worked this time. It was working and worked for my sound check. So I figured, hey, everything must be fine. I don't have far to go. It should be fine. So we get into the ceremony. Bridal party needs to process by me to get to where they have to go down. And the first couple that walked by, I heard a little like, man, what's that? Next couple, like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Bride comes by, like, man. So she gets up there, I lower the processional music, the justice of the peace, whoever it was. He starts talking, it's good, then it kind of cuts out, and then it's back, and then kind of cuts out. Like, oh my God. So I quickly just grab, any box that I had with me, any bag, box, whatever. I stacked them up, and I just put my transmitter, my receiver, whatever, on top of them, so maybe I could get above, everybody's head in the audience. But like I said, it was a very short distance, and there weren't that many people, and they were all sitting. There's no reason why this should have happened. It definitely had to do with the fact that I couldn't find a channel. And not to make excuses or anything, but if I had that extra time, maybe I could have figured this out. But I didn't realize that this was the problem until it really became a problem. I guess I thought I was going to be able to get away with it. The other problem was when I mic'd up the Justice of the Peace, he was hanging out with the bridal party inside, so I wasn't able to do a proper sound check with him. So anyway, I got my way through the ceremony, and man, I was I just had to sit there cutting it out. Every time it cut out, it got staticky, and then pull it back. And luckily, he was close enough that most people could hear what he was saying anyway. But anyway, I was mortified, absolutely mortified by it. So it comes time to hit the recessional. I go to hit play, nothing comes out. But luckily I loaded it up on both decks, hit play on the other deck, nothing comes out. So I look down, speaker's fine, I look at my screen, I pulled both volumes down on both decks and didn't put them back. It's because I was so distracted at the fact that I was having all these microphone problems that I just completely overlooked I did it. I just did that a couple gig logs ago. If you watch my gig logs, I just did this last week, the week before. But this time, man, they were both pulled down. Now, here's the problem. I go to turn them up. Now, I don't use a controller. I wish I had a controller with me that I could just hit a play button or just twist a volume knob or move a fader. Because I had to go on the trackpad and my fingers were not working, man. You know when you have a nightmare and you're like trying to run from danger and it's like running through quicksand and you know you should be going faster but you just can't? That's exactly what was happening with my fingers. I just sort of like was paralyzed. And I was trying so hard, and I just could see them moving so slow. And my brain's like, you gotta move faster, you gotta move faster. And I just could not do it. And so I got both songs playing. So now they're playing. I have to get them stopped and back at the cue point. And so it was like short-circuiting my brain. I don't know what was going on. I finally get it all set up, whatever. Though all said and done, we're talking 5 or 6 seconds, which to me was like forever. I mean, it wasn't that long in the grand scheme of things. And people, I'm sure, noticed that I missed my cue, but I don't think they noticed just like the internal trauma I was going through, how I was literally dying inside in front of everybody. But I finally got it, hit it, and they made it through. They recessed and, you know, everything was over. So first chance I get, I go run up to the bride. I'm like, hey, I am so sorry about the sound. You know, the problems, whatever, I get them figured out. We're not going to have any more issues tonight. You know, I'm so sorry. She's like, what's up? Sound problems? I didn't hear any sound problems. I'm like, man, you are the best. Thank you so much. I love people like you. And the photographer was right there. She's like, she's the best. Isn't she the best? I'm like, she is the absolute best. So anyway, great couple. Great family, great friends, great place. The bartenders, bad news, man. Good, cool dudes, Johnny and Steve. But they were a bad influence on me. They were like feeding me beers, and asking for requests and stuff. Like, hey, I brought you beer. How about you play some Latin music? You know, it's like, oh man, So anyway, they were a blast. They had so much energy, man. They were pumping up the crowd. I mean, they were awesome. So it gets to the end of the night. They kept telling me to shout them out. They're like, oh, shout us out. It gets the crowd pumped up. And every now and then I'd shout out the bartenders, and they would start doing this crazy stuff, and the crowd would go nuts, and it really did work. It's like, wow, it's crazy. But I found myself shouting them out more than I was shouting out the bride and groom, and I caught myself. I was like, all right, I gotta reel this back, and turn this day more into what it is, and make it more about the bride and groom. So we get to the end of the night. I end it, and one more song. I forget what I played, but it was awesome. It was a good one. It was the right one, and it ended the night fantastic. Near the end of the song, one of them comes up to me. He's like, hey, I brought you a beer. Play one more Latin song for me or whatever. I was like, dude, it's already after, we've already gone into overtime. Your staff, everybody wants to get out of here. Your boss is going to kill me. I'm never going to be invited back. So he's like, no, it'll be fine. I'll tell him it's fine. Where I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, dude, no, whatever. Song ends. I'm like, all right, hey, thank you, good night. And I'm doing the ending. And one more song. And I'm like, no, guys, really can't. We're done. Whatever. They just keep going. I'm like, all right, here we go, boom, and I hit Suavemente. And so the two bartenders went nuts. The rest of the place, it was a good reaction. It just was nowhere near as good as the song before. We really should have been done. In retrospect, I also should have picked a song that was more along the lines of what the bride and groom were into. Again, bad influence, these bartenders. So anyway, it was a blast. I had so much fun. It was a great time.
here. Y'all gon' make me act a fool, but we're here, up in here.
As always, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, peace.